Welcome to the existential version episode of Born in Trouble. I'm your host, John. Yo, here's the thing. This show hasn't been on for quite a while now. It's been a few days, a few weeks actually. And the reason why is because your boy what almost died, B, which is crazy. Crazy. Life is so short. Things happen so quickly. And one moment you're sitting here and you're living your life just like you normally would any other day. And the next thing you know, you're in an ICU unit with IVs attached to your arms and fluids going into your body. And you have no idea how you ended up in that situation. And that's where I was as of May 31st. First of all, it's quite an experience to come close to death in that way. I had no idea, no clue as to what happened and what caused this. But to give a brief overview, and I always like to keep things brief, and I like to keep certain things to myself at all times. And the one thing that I keep to myself is exactly what it was, but my blood sugar went up to 1300. And apparently, when your blood sugar is at 1300, there are a number of different things that are supposed to happen to you, such as going into a diabetic coma. I was actually awake and alert the entire time. Neurological damage, organ failure, cardiac episodes, all of these things are related with blood pressure, with a blood sugar that high. And luckily, I didn't fall into any of these categories. And the doctors are still trying to figure out exactly why. We're also trying to figure out how I'm back to such strong neurological strength as it is right now, just a few weeks out from the episode. And honestly speaking, I've been like this for probably about 2 weeks now, easily. The thing is that I've been trying to figure out how to go about the rest of your life. The strange thing is that when you come so close to seeing it all end, I know people have said they see the light in all these different things, and maybe I just wasn't that close. Maybe it really wasn't that much of a threat because I never felt like I was leaving this plane of existence. Sure, I was like, feeling different things, and I definitely went into a different realm, and I definitely got a different message, which is part of the reason why I haven't said anything for a couple of weeks because, how do you come back? How do you come back to normal life after that? Seemingly, I felt like I did everything wrong. I'm sitting there. All I could feel that something was off. I didn't feel like I normally did at that point. Nothing was syncing up with my body and my mind and my circumstances. And at the same time, you're being pulled into this direction, and everything becomes extremely clear in that moment. What's important, what's not important, what can happen. You know, I turned on the TV and I'm watching TV at that point, and it was like the 31st. And one of the things that was going on in the world at that point was they were talking about on television reparations and all this dumb shit. And I'm just looking at these cats and I'm just thinking to myself in my clarity, not knowing that I'm probably about to go to the emergency room in about 10 or 15 minutes. Luckily, the way I got out of here is that I was talking to my daughter, who I love to death, and she noticed that something was wrong with me. Something was wrong with my speech. And she got with my lady's daughter, and they basically called the ambulance and they coordinated everything and got me out there, got the code to my house and put me in there. And they're the ones that are responsible for me being here today, or else I would have been laid out on the floor at that point. And who knows if I would have ever recovered from that. But I owe them a big, thanks. And my daughter-in-law was like, she was extremely surprised when I thanked her for that. She was like, her mom told me like she didn't even know how to respond to it. Which is kind of, to me, is kind of like weird. And it's kind of like telling of how we are as people, where we don't express love to the people that we love. I don't understand why she would feel that way. Um, I do things for the family all of the time. And I don't do them because of the fact that I'm trying to curry favor. I do them because, like, I genuinely love these babies and I genuinely love my family. And that's really what is the most important thing at that point, is that it's your family. It's the ones that are closest to you. This money, the deals, deal making, the prestige, none of us goes out of here. When we leave this earth, we're not going out with our wallets. And the only thing that really matters is, what mattered to me is that when I woke up and I was in ICU, my sister was sitting next to me and my brother-in-law sitting next to me. When I passed out again, I woke up again. My lady was sitting next. When I passed out and I woke up again, my brother was sitting next to me. When I went upstairs and they finally got me out of ICU and I looked around the corner, my daughter came. And in her situation, what was going on with her, it was a stretch. And she was there. And my son, he was there. And they were with me the entire time. So it kind of puts in perspective a lot of these things that we have these conversations with about, you know, this one won't replace us, and all of this hate and these disgusting messages that people are putting out there all the time. It's like, I just wonder, like, it made me it made me understand that I actually had made the right decisions, because one of the reasons why I do the show, and is because of the fact that I have a lot of experience in life, in the world. I've been out there in the world. I've been in these genres, in these fields where people are interested in, and they're still interested in today. I happen to be I would just been blessed my entire life. I've been blessed my entire life. I call it what it is. I was born into a family with a mother who didn't stifle my abilities. She encouraged me. I was in a situation where I could roam free to a certain extent. I had to always protect myself. More importantly, what's different than from me and from my generation and from most of these generations today is that we had to fight for everything. Taking a loss is a part of the was a part of our learning process. And when people say that what's wrong with the world today, that is generally what's wrong with the world today, is that you don't have these learning processes. You don't have these things that are you're not a we're afraid of actually going through these situations. And it makes it difficult for people to develop themselves. It really does. It makes it difficult for them to understand how to take a loss. Sometimes you have to take losses in life. Sometimes it helps you grow. It helps you learn. It helps you grow. And when I say that I made the right decisions, it's because I see people online, and because of and I know a ton of people, and there are so many different decisions that I could have made in my lifetime that would have put me in a different financial and personal situation, that many people would have actually made those decisions. They would have actually ran with that. They would have went with the popular guy at that point to try to sell the most records and do the most and be the most, instead of just being like, see, to me, at a certain point, when I'm in the music business and I hit 26 years old, I'm thinking 26 years old is like too old to be in the rap business. Now, if you want to go back to 1996, 1997, and consider the fact that I'm thinking that 26 is too old to be in the rap business. And now 30, 40 years later, you've got these 50-year-old rappers that are still out here causing problems in the community in order for them to stay relevant. Many of them. Was I wrong? Was I right? I don't know. At the same time, you look at these young cats, but these young cats, this is like, this is what oppression brings you. And when an old cat will hold you down, you know, this is what oppression brings. So I didn't want to be a part of that, messing up the culture. I didn't want to be a part of that. Um, some people say it's exploiting the culture. And I look at how things have turned around 100%. You go from, I watch these old shows, and I'm watching a TV show and they have a reference to a Diddy party, being invited to a Diddy party. Ooh, now nobody wants to be invited to a Diddy party, or it's cringeworthy. Is it cringeworthy? But this is what people wanted to do. So just goes to show you how things like change and how everything just goes around in a circle. And to me, I made the decisions, the hard decisions, to sometimes forego money in order to spend time with my kids. And as I'm sitting there in that hospital and I'm looking there, and it was damn near no time when there wasn't somebody by my bedside. Feel like I did the right thing, B, because I know where my love is coming from. So, one of the things that we do on the show is we talk about popular culture. We talk about the foolishness that goes around with different cultures, with our culture in particular. We talk about life in general, decisions that people make. Talk about everything. Before I actually almost went into this diabetic coma, one of my recurring guests, Chocolate Yoda, we had discussed we were going to be talking about Donald Trump, basically giving a Trump update at the end of each month. He doesn't like him. I don't necessarily like the dude. I don't really want to publicize him, but I also don't want him to be president again because I don't like the heat. I don't. I don't like the way that people are divided and people are pulled apart by this guy. I don't like what has gone on in this country with this guy, no matter what. But also at the same time, I recognize that as someone who's growing up at a different age, most of these problems, excuse me, they're basically white people problems. Not having jobs, not being able to buy a house for your family, not being able, these are all things that black people never really had anything with. And this has nothing to do with whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or whatever you identify it with. This is just reality. Last hired, first fired. That's the reality of your life. This is one of the reasons why I go out and I do things that I do as a basically desperado. a buccaneer moving out, and I made my own money. The world wasn't setting me up, wasn't allowing me to, wasn't playing fair. And when I say wasn't playing fair, I mean really not playing fair. My IQ is higher than 90% of the fucking population. And I was consistently working for people whose IQs were probably within the 20 or the 10% of the population in order to make them money. That's not fair. That's not capitalism. And you want to argue that it's not, that it's, well, this is the way that the world is. All you have to do is look at what just happened in Oklahoma with the case for the town where they had Black Wall Street, and they have ruled that even though there was irreparable damage that were done to these people and to their histories and all the money that was stolen, the people were bombed and killed, they still don't have a case to go forward and get any type of litigation or any type of justice in the United States of America. That's the reality. I don't care what you identify with as of today or tomorrow. All it takes is one guy to pull you over, and you're going to figure out, you're going to remember where you stand and where you are. Before I went into this coma, or before I went into the hospital, I had an issue with a guy in a group that I was dealing with. And it was so disappointing because this cat had called me on the side and asked me for advice on how to set up his business, how to basically do an LLC without, and I put him on. I put him on on how to do these things without actually paying all of the funds and actually getting you started and moving forward. And he took that act of kindness that I gave to him, and I moved forward with him, and he used it basically to attack me personally. It's not because of my politics. He's someone who believes in this political thing, this whole Trump thing, and these whole all these people and all this other different stuff. But like the truth of the matter is that Trump and these white guys that you associate with so much, they're not the ones who fucking helped you out. That was me who did that shit. The person who's ideologically different than you. And I'm not asking for anything for doing that other than general respect, which I didn't get. So it just shows me about these new Negroes, these new niggas that are out here in the world that believe that these ideologies are different than what they always have been. And they're not. Nothing is different than how it always has been. Yeah, you know, there are good people of all races. There are people that you can do business with of all races. Hell, I do business with people from all races. My main lender is a Latino, who I usually hook up with different deals. One of these people that I work with most of the time to do a lot of my work with, my research, is a white female. Um, I can go down the line. I've got everything. I'm Arabs, Jews, everything. I work with everyone. It's not about that. It's really not about race with me. But they'll tell me that it's about race with me because it fits their fucking stupid ass narrative. But the reality is that there are people that dislike you from different races. And if you don't recognize that, then when the niggas come and chop your head off, don't come knocking on my door because we can't vibe. We can't build off of that. There's nothing for us to build off of that. There's nothing. That's basic cooning 101 and everything. And this is what the problem is with the world. It's like, as I was dying, I was like, none of this shit makes sense. As I was in this coma, I was thinking, none of this shit makes sense and everything. Because as a black person in the United States of America, you have to know that there's always going to be a certain segment of people, white people, that dislike you just for existing. Me saying that does not make me the racist. Those people are still the racist people. I'm just the person that's acknowledging it. So anyone that's attacking me as being racist for acknowledging that racism exists is basically the same as, I guess the only thing I could really make a comparison to is like the Trojan War. When they were trying to put the thing in and bring the horse into Troy, anyone who was against the horse coming into Troy, those people were the problem. Oh, it's so beautiful, it's so ornate. It's like such a nice little piece of decoration. Let's bring it in there and everything. But what it actually is it's actually you dropping your guard. So if you're mad at me for because I refuse to drop my guard, you're the problem. If you're mad at me and you look like me because I won't drop my guard, you're still the problem. I can't trust you because you're telling me to do something and you're so adamant about me doing something that's going to be to my detriment that you're getting upset about it. It's very weird, odd to me. Um, it's not something I'm going to do at any point in time. I'm still going to choose my friends the same way, which is based upon an intellectual level and a personal level as far as what you do for me, how we interact between each other, how the type of respect that we show one another. A man doesn't respect you, you shouldn't be fucking with him. And this is the thing that makes everything so weird is that, you have all these people that are being disrespected by other people and they rocking with people that are disrespecting them. And I can't fuck with that. I don't understand it. I grew up my experiences are different than your experiences. Your experiences are different than my experience. Um, you can't take away the power of my experiences from my life. You can't assuage me with a word or a concept going to make me feel better or make me feel different about my experiences. My experiences are, as a fifth grader, being ambushed by a big white kid who's like 2 years older than me, much bigger than me, because of the fact that he thought that I thought I was a smart ass and he didn't like the fact that his older brother actually liked me and was teaching me different things about, basketball and things of that nature and everything. He didn't like that. So he decided that I should get jumped. And he jumped me. Basically, he ambushed me. These are my experiences. Also, my experiences watching his brother smack him upside the head when he found out exactly what he did. So there are good people and there are bad people. How do you take that experience? Do you take it as the first person jumped me, I shouldn't? Or do you take the whole thing in and understand that there are some people that are always going to dislike you, some people that are always going to want to stop you dead in your tracks. And then there are other people that are going to sit there and they're going to look at it and they're going to recognize you for your quality and what you actually are. And generally, that doesn't have to do anything with what type of political party or who they voted for in 1964 during the Civil Rights Act and things like that. My blood sugar was 1300. I should have been in a coma, B. And all I was thinking about was what happened to me when I was 11 years old. Crazy. It's crazy. I was thinking about the opportunity that I may never get a chance to come back and speak again, to share exactly what it was. As I'm down there and I'm in the ICU, on one hand, I wake up and I see my family members. I see my brother one time, see my sister another time. I also was experienced a horrible human being in the ICU department who actually tied my hands to the bed and was giving my wife such a hard time about my situation, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And it was one of the times where it was such a disappointment because I come from my higher learning started at Howard University, where I met a number of black people from many different aspects of the diaspora, and that still carries with me. I know black Guyanese, I know black Americans, I know rich black Americans from the South, the Cotillion Court. I know I met Africans, a number of different Africans. And this gentleman happened to be an African. And the things that happen with him, disgusting. And the truth of the matter is, he's not here without the blood, sweat, and tears of me and mine. And I was very disappointed. I'm not holding that against other members of my diaspora because, like, I'm gonna choose love at all points in time. I know Puff, but I'm actually love. I don't know what this dude is, but I'm actually love. And I'm gonna choose love in this situation. And I'm gonna pray for him. I'm really gonna pray for this guy because he needs to do better. He needs to be better. And I don't understand as I have this like 1300 blood sugar, it's like you're almost looking at a reflection of yourself. And to me, black is beautiful. I'm still beautiful. Everything that I see is beautiful. When I see that, I see beauty. Even in your ignorance, I see beauty. And I think that's what it is. You know, can't can't change who you are basically by nature. I was reminded of a trip that I had taken one time when I was with Craig and we had went into a store and this woman came up to us and she was like, excuse me, she was like, I didn't want to say anything. She was like, she said to Craig, she was like, I don't, I understand that you're whatever and I understand you whatever. But she just looked at me and she said, God just wants you to know that he loves you and you're one of his favorite. And as I'm coming out of this 1300 with none of these problems and none of these ailments that normally carry over with other people, I think it's time maybe I start believing it. And I'm not one of his favorites because I'm a Democrat or because I'm a Republican. It's because I love people for who they are. As I'm sitting here, I'm in the hospital, I'm having a hard time. I'm dealing with the disparate actions of black people, of black men, meaning that a lot of times with the medical um, community, they don't listen to us. They don't hear what we have to say. Luckily, I've had people that were there that were advocating for me. So I probably only went with that probably 50% of the time, half of what the normal person and what the normal experience would be like. And I really can't get into much depth as to why that was the way it was. But one of the best nurses, if not the best nurse, that took care of me was a gay man. Gay man. And to me, I didn't think about the fact that he was a gay man. I thought about the fact that he was taking care of me really, really well. And I loved him for it. And I appreciated him for it. I really did. So, and at the time, I'm watching all these things on television, and it's all about gay people. And, it's as if, like, these people have always existed. They've always existed. And you're not going to wish them out of existence. And as a matter of fact, as many of these conservative Republicans get caught with their penises, excuse my expression, in another man's mouth at some point. It's like, at a certain point you gotta realize that there's no wins in that fight. Y'all do the same things. This is a society where people are doing free love all the time. Not your job to do that. It's God's job to sort them out. And if at the end of their lives that there's a problem with it, and that's exactly what'll happen. But it's not your job to do that. And this guy took such care. He took such good care of me the entire time while I was there. And it wasn't because of anything stupid. It was because he's good at what he does. You know, why are we having these why are we having these wars with these people? Why are we having these wars with each other when it's obvious that the world is burning down? You've got at the time that I'm in the hospital, I'm watching as Florida basically floods. This is Trump land. Miami is underwater. Most of Florida is underwater, under siege. Now, we're in the Bible Belt, and this week as we speak, we have record heat. Are you not paying attention to the signs? Do you not understand what's going on in the world actually as you fight these dumbass fucking wars? As I'm going and I'm getting a test taken, I'm singing, and all I kept thinking was, I wasn't thinking about dying. I wasn't thinking about not making it out. I was thinking about once I come out, I've got to find a place to go do karaoke because I want to sing. I want to sing. I want to have good times. I want to see my friends with smiles and have fun. I want to love. All you people do is hate everything. All you do is hate everything. And can't fuck with you. Seriously. On that level, I can't fuck with you. I don't hate everything. I don't I don't need you to point out to me, I don't need you to point out to me things that you're not prepared to fucking discuss in depth and in understanding. I really can't. And I'm not about trying to chase every fucking dollar that comes across my table and everything. If I've ever called you and I've ever offered you anything and I've ever had any conversation with you and I've given you advice, just let it be known that it was done with love and understanding. But shit from the past is just past. It's done. And if you can't approach me, if you can't show love, I'm not interested. I'm only interested in love right now. I'm only interested in positive things right now. And I just really hope that y'all figure it out, honestly speaking. And I understand I am going to continue with my show and I am going to bring this up. This Morning Trouble episode is really it's more about just me explaining, like, I didn't just disappear. I wasn't able to do this. My friends have been very supportive. Everyone's been very supportive. I love you guys, from Grant to Gene to Reg, Yoda, Andrew. Y'all been great. Y'all were great friends and everything during that time. And it's really amazing that and the reason why I'm talking to you is because it's really amazing that I am able to speak to you in this way because I shouldn't be able to, right? From what I understand, I think doctors are more intrigued as to how I am the way that I am right now. Damn near back at 100%. Yes, I am taking insulin and all these things, but I really don't think that I even need it at this point. I am almost 100% recovered, and it's wild. It's wild. And the wildest part about it is that, like, um, I I'm here. I'm here. So anyway, I don't know what type of situation everybody is in or how you're living, but I just got to tell you that whatever we've been doing right now, it's wrong. If there was a message that was given to me, is it's like that's what the message was. And I know that everybody's tied up with this election and all this other shit and everything. And I feel sorry for y'all, because there really is only one path. We've been bamboozled. Um, but that guy Trump, he can't do it. He can't do the job. He's just trying to stay out of jail, and he's just gonna really fuck all you guys up. He's really gonna fuck you up. Um, and really, there's only one path forward. I don't like a lot of the political things that are going on right now. I don't like a lot of the things that are going on in Israel and Palestine right now. I was looking at an article today where all of these Air Force people, all these military people are actually calling it a genocide. And these are the people that are actually on the floor that are actually doing it, dropping the bombs. And that's not good. I don't like to think of Israel as being a state where, I don't think that my a lot of my Jewish associates are terrible people that support killing at all costs, or unaliving, as they should say. I have to change that, unaliving at all costs. But it's a horrible thing what's going on. It's a horrible thing what's going on. I don't believe in half of the stuff that's going on in the United States of America. Um, but I think that we've done such a bad job with trying to get people trying to get power over other people and trying to chip away at the freedoms that this country is supposed to represent. That this is what we get. We get fascism on one side, and we get white fascism on the other side. We get no traces whatsoever. Two oldest men on the face of the earth, possibly running for president, which is a horrible thing. We get no solutions. We get a bunch of hate. We get people that don't even understand that life should be easier. It should be better. Life should be love. The pursuit of happiness is something that we've all forgotten about. The pursuit of happiness. So I just want everybody to know I don't hate you just because I speak plainly. I come from a place where life is good. I sit here, I look at my feed today, and I see someone I knew from Brentwood with two of the greatest basketball players, college basketball players involved in probably the most interesting basketball experience in the history, which is the Villanova Georgetown game. And I turn another page and I see um, a rapper who is one of the most influential producers in the history of the music business. And I turn another page and I see a friend who went to one of the most prestigious schools in the United States of America. And I just know that I'm blessed to have had all these experiences and to have been able to take it on in and to still be here. So, listen, born in trouble, We're not gone. We were just on hiatus. Probably be popping up with another show next week. I just wanted to touch base with you guys and just let you know that not everything is based upon hatred or money or race, even though they tell you that everything is hatred or money or race or ideology. And I really wish that people would just get out of everyone else's business. So think about changing the show to mind your business. 'Cause I think we would be better off if we did. But either way, listen, fellas, ladies, people, I appreciate you. Everyone who knew what was going on with me at that time that sent me out those wishes. Big love goes out to you. And you know, change in energy. Nothing but love. Peace. Born in trouble.